morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Chapter 21. We just finished talking about the different tissues that we find in animals. We're going to move on now, and we're going to talk about different organ systems that we find in animals. Remember, you put tissues together to make organs. You put organs together to make organ systems. So we're going to talk about several of the organ systems. The first organ system that we're going to talk about is the digestive system. So, nutrition and digestion. Remember the strategy that we used when we talked about living things. We talked about from least complex to most complex. And so we're going to use that strategy to talk about the different systems as we go through. The least complex version of the digestive system is an incomplete digestive system. A complete digestive system is what you have. A complete digestive system means that the food has a way in and a way out. An incomplete digestive system, the way in and the way out are the same. Aren't you glad you have a complete digestive system and not an incomplete digestive system? This shows a hydra. Remember we talked about hydra when we talked about the cnidarians. All cnidarians have incomplete digestive systems, so all 20-some thousand species of jellies have an incomplete digestive system. There is a singular opening that leads to what's called the gastrovascular cavity. They don't have a circulatory system. All of the cells have to get their nourishment directly from this central cavity, and that's pretty much a very common theme when you talk about incomplete digestive systems. They generally will not have a circulatory system, which means they don't have blood for moving food and nutrients around. So all of the cells have to get all of their nutrition directly from this central cavity. So what has happened with this hydra right here? Here's the mouth. It has swallowed what's called a daphnia. Doesn't really matter. It's basically an aquatic bug. It has swallowed a daphnia and is going to digest it. Once the food is broken down and digested, the little food particles are going to go right into, as we said, they're going to go right into the cells that make up the body of this animal. Waste products are going to be ejected back into the central cavity, and any bits of the daphnia that the hydra can't digest are going to be ejected out of that mouth. Incomplete digestive system. The way in is the same as the way out. We have a complete digestive system, and aren't you glad? Just imagine that first date, right? Can I have a kiss? Didn't you poop today? Did you brush your teeth? We have a complete digestive system, which means that we have a way in and a way out. One-way flow of materials through the gut. They possess organisms that have a complete digestive have a mouth and anus. The only organisms that don't have complete digestive systems would be sponges, obviously, because they don't even have a digestive system, period. Cnidarians, which we just said, have an incomplete. Flatworms have an incomplete. Our next step up from the flatworms are the roundworms. They've got a complete digestive system. And everything from there on out has a complete digestive system. There is a way in and a way out. The digestion is broken up into 4 stages. The first stage is ingestion, bringing the food in. Once the food is brought in, I have to break it down. There's a couple steps of breaking down food. We'll talk about that. That's actual digestion. Once you have broken the food down into little bits and pieces, those bits and pieces have to be absorbed from your intestines, from your guts, into your bloodstream. So that's absorption. Once it's been absorbed, it has to get transported to the body. There's always going to be stuff that you couldn't use. There's always going to be stuff that you could not digest, and what isn't digested has to be eliminated. These are the 4 basic steps to digestion. Eating, breaking it down, absorbing it, eliminating the waste. Our first stage of digestion is ingestion. You have to eat the food. Ingestion is a portion of digestion, and ingestion is referred to often as mechanical digestion. Because mechanical digestion is there's two parts to digestion, mechanical and chemical. They both have the same goal, and that goal is to take big things and make them smaller. With mechanical digestion, this is the ingestion part of the digestive system. You take a bite out of something, and that bite, you've taken a large food particle, like a hamburger, and you've taken a bite of it. Mechanically digested, you have made that large food particle smaller. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to chew it up. You're going to grind it up. That's still mechanical digestion, because now I've taken this relatively large food particle, this bite, and then I'm going to chew it and grind it up until it's like a mushy paste. And then I'm going to swallow it, and it's going to go down into my stomach. Most organisms do some amount of mechanical digestion. Not all organisms do it with their mouth, but most organisms do some amount of, most animals do some amount of mechanical digestion. It's carried out by the mouth. If the organism has teeth, if the animal has teeth, the teeth will be grinding and cutting, and that means the teeth will be scissors, the teeth will be mashers. They're going to slice the food up, and then they're going to grind it. Again, taking this big particle of food and mechanically digesting it down into a smaller piece. After the mouth, it kind of depends on the animal as to where the food goes to. Some animals will take it to a crop. A crop, depending on the organism you're talking about, it can be one of two things. A crop can either be a bag that holds food, or it can be a muscular bag that will actually grind up food. Some animals that have a crop, birds have a crop, but the crop itself doesn't do any digesting in the animal. It just holds on to the food. Worms have a crop, and in worms, often there will be some mechanical digestion that takes place. Before the crop, or actually another of the organisms, another of the organs that does mechanical digestion is a structure called a gizzard. You've heard of people eating chicken gizzards? A chicken gizzard is a muscular bag that will grind up food. The reason why birds use a gizzard is because they don't have teeth. And because they don't have teeth, they can't chew food. They can pick it into pieces, but they can't chew it up, grind it up. And so that's what the job of the gizzard is. The food will go to the stomach, and from the stomach will complete mechanical digestion. The stomach actually has 3 separate layers of muscle tissue going 3 different directions, one going this way, one going this way, one going that way. The stomach has 3 different layers of muscle tissue, and it's the stomach's job to finish this process we call mechanical digestion, to take that paste that you swallowed and to further turn it into a slush, to turn it into a slurry, you'd call it. I hate to be gross, but allow me to be gross for a minute. We've all thrown up. We've all seen what vomit looks like. That is what the stomach does to your food. It takes that stuff that you ate and turns it into a slurry, it's called, a thick paste. You've probably, at some point, put your head on someone's stomach right after they ate. If you've done that, you've heard lots of churning and gurgling and bubbling, and that's exactly what the stomach is doing. It's using those 3 different muscle layers to churn, to take that thick paste that you swallowed and turning it into a thin paste, along with all the stuff that you drank, too, to mix it up into a liquid, really a liquid. That liquid that is in the stomach, that is part food, part drink, part stuff we'll talk about in just a minute, is referred to as chyme. Not chime, it's not a bell. It's chyme with a K. Chyme, if it's specifically in the stomach, you refer to that slurry of food and secretions and drink as acidic chyme. Once it goes out of the stomach and into the intestines, it's just then referred to as simply as chyme. Here we see a few different animals. A mouth and an anus. Mouth and anus. Mouth and anus, they have a complete digestive system. food comes in the mouth, it goes to a crop for holding food. In the case of the worm, it goes to that gizzard. The gizzard is for grinding up food. If you look at a bird, it goes from the mouth to the esophagus. Again, that crop is for holding food, then to the stomach, then to the gizzard afterwards. They've got kind of a strange setup. Here is my grasshopper. Food comes in the mouth, goes to the crop, and then will eventually get taken through the digestive system and will come out of the anus. So different animals have different setups for digestive system. They've got a few different organs within the digestive system.